Moses Moody. So we got Kevin Pelton, Bobby Marks, Tim Bontemps. And they rate teams in 5 categories. And they're talking about what do these NBA teams look like for the next 3 years? They're forecasting. Are they forecasting greatness for the Kings? We'll see. That was pretty good. I'm forecasting greatness for Brock Purdy.
He did, though. Did he not?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So they're ranking teams in terms of players, money, draft, market, and management. So number 1, the next 3 years, a team that looks like they're in the best shape for the next 3 years, of course, Oklahoma City. They rank Houston second. There's a base hit for the Giants. The Knicks third, Cavs fourth, Clippers fifth, which is interesting because who knows what's going on with them.
Well, give me this one more time, Whitey. I apologize.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Players, money, draft, market, and management.
Okay.
That's what they're looking at. Again, they're forecasting for the next 3 years.
Money, okay.
How the Clippers are fifth when we don't know what's going to happen with them. I don't know.
Steve Ballmer's a billionaire.
I don't know how you do that. Yeah. Warriors sixth, which again is like, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know about
that. Got a
that.
lot of older, expensive contracts. Orlando 7, Lakers 8, Denver 9. Again, this is for the next 3 years, how these teams are set up. San Antonio, Minnesota, Atlanta, Boston, Miami. Hoping to get to the Kings at some point. 15, Indiana, 16, Dallas, 17, Memphis, 18, Detroit. 19, Philadelphia, 20, Toronto, 21, Milwaukee, 22, Portland. 23, Charlotte, 24, Utah, 25, your Sacramento Kings. Previous ranking was 18th. And here's what Bobby Marks says. Bobby Marks says, in 2 years, Sacramento went from having the coach of the year, an executive of the year, to losing in consecutive play-in tournaments. We know that. Tell us something we don't know. Brown and McNair are gone. Yeah. De'Aaron Fox traded to San Antonio. The Kings are no longer considered a playoff team. The regression in 7 spots from last year's rankings, they were 18th in this ranking last year, is because of a bottom 10 roster and a management group that ranks last, Jay. A bottom 10 roster and a management group that ranks last, according to ESPN. The positive, however, is that Sacramento controls its first in the next 7 years and the first from San Antonio 2027 if 1-16 and Minnesota 2031 unprotected. So how about that? It's pretty bleak. Yeah. It's more bleak than bright, but even Bobby Marks says, well, there's some upside there with Sacramento having
when you rank as dead last in the league.
No, they're not. They're only
25th.
They're ahead of Washington, Brooklyn, Chicago, New Orleans, Phoenix.
How could there be some upside and we 25th in the league?
Because the upside doesn't quite outweigh the negatives. The roster they don't like. And management, bottom. They list their management team as the worst in the NBA.
Yeah.
Is it over for the Kings? Are the next 3 years as bleak as this piece would lead us to believe it is, Jay?
I would say 2 things that pop into my mind, Whitey, when we're talking about the next 3 years. I've originally said over the last year and a half or 2 years since we've had to drive guys, however long it's been, it's been a while, that next off season will be the set and foundation, the base of where this Kings team goes. And I say that in the form of Keegan Murray's contract is up. You got to do something with it, right? On top of that, Debo deal, all circumstantial, will be completely over. And then Zach LaVine would have another year on the deal. To me, that's when the Kings, Scott Perry, BJ Armstrong, they can flex the muscles. They need to set up the foundation. They've begun to do that, but with Nee Clifford, with Max, Devin Carter, of course, last year. But you probably could put Keon in there as well. I think they have some wiggle room. And if I'm hearing with John Hollinger and his cronies are talking about, really, they bring them down the list of 25 because they don't like their roster, the way it's built this year.
Right.
And then on top of that, the management. I guess when you say
23rd in players, to emphasize your point, pardon me for interrupting.
No, please.
They rank the players 23rd. That's a bottom 10 roster, and management dead last.
Yeah, that to me, that's what brings down your grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not getting good grades on the curve when your management squad is 30th. And it may just be the turmoil, the overturn. Also, on top of that, unfortunately, the ownership group has a a perception about them, right? And so when you're talking about NBA circles, guys, reporters like that, insiders, they have a little more knowledge, and they, as you mentioned, it was a group of people that put this together.
Yeah, Bobby Marks and Tim Bontemps and Kevin Pelton.
Yeah,
were the three.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
those
all right.
three.
Yeah.
So there is something to that, and all three probably have their belief. All of those guys, I feel like, have been in the show, if I'm not mistaken. But you can't have high scores when you're dead last in management,
right?
And you can't have high scores when your roster there's some things to be desired.
Yes.
So we'll see. We'll see. But I think the Kings have an opportunity this year going into expectations, and I know we'll start to talk about that here the next couple of weeks. I think next off season is when we can make some headway.
Yeah, at some point, I think Kings fans, if I may speak for Kings fans, they just want to get a sense of direction. And this is a projection for the next 3 years based on where they are right now. Fair enough, but obviously management can prove that we've learned from our mistakes, and we're going to make more prudent decisions with Scott Perry at the helm now. So that would change that. Not that they care what their score is, but I just mean, how capable are they? How well equipped are they to navigate the next 3 years? Maybe Scott Perry is going to be able to do that. The players, we've talked about the roster, and they're just kind of stuck with this roster right now. So,
this year.
Yeah. So what are they going to do? Are they going to try to spin off parts this year at the deadline, or wait till next year? That's really the roadblock to them getting on a path towards really being a winner again. You've got, I don't want to use the term dead wood, that's an overstatement, but you've got a lot of expensive contracts for players that it doesn't quite fit here. So until they can sort that out, and I don't agree that it's something that you could just come in and get rid of everybody.
No,
so
doesn't work out.
That's going to be the tricky part. Although it's funny, I remember when who was the general manager of the Raiders? Who used to play?
What are we talking here?
Yeah, years. Anyway, I apologize. I'll think of his name. He said, "Look, tearing it down is the easy part. Building it back up is the hard part."
That was Reggie McKenzie.
Yeah, Reggie McKenzie, of course. Thank you. The Kings are they don't want to tear it down to the studs. That's the tricky part for them.
Yeah,
they're having a hard part with that. That's supposed to be the easy part, and they don't want to do that.
Well, I don't know. I don't really know what the management wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've come in and given us a foolproof plan just yet. I think right now we're in the early stages of the plan, and we'll see how it goes. And of course, we know, you come in brand new, you start your regime. You still have some pieces from the old regime that you must include. That you, as you said, you can't tear it down to the stud. So I don't really know. When it comes to how you can prognosticate 3-4 years out, and then at the same time say, well, this year we need to make changes and see the action. Well, let me say it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say it this way. If we're going by the rankings of those three gentlemen for ESPN,
yes,
the truth of the truth is this: the management has been overturned so many times. And when I say management, we're talking about general manager. Management means coach. That's what I look at when I'm talking about management. And ownership group.
Yeah.
For me, that's management. You can't help but look at the Sacramento Kings. Number one, if you look at all three, new coach, incomplete.
Right.
General manager and his staff, incomplete.
Right.
Ownership group, as I said, perception, not very good.
Yeah, so they're clearly assuming that whoever's been making the decisions for the last 12 years, whatever, that weren't good decisions, is going to continue to make the decisions.
To do those things, right.
We don't know if that's the case.
Or they could be considered incomplete because Scott Perry, Doug Christie, we don't know what's going on.
Right.
And then the other part, low ranking, is where were they at? 20.
On players are 23rd, which
23rd.
is obviously of 30 teams, bottom 10.
Which is, We'll see. I think you have an opportunity we're talking about tearing down the studs. You've already changed your management. You've changed your coach yet again. And now we're talking about players.
Mm-hmm.
We will see, for me, the next season. It's tough to talk about next off season because we're in this off season. And of course, you want to talk about what's coming up, this upcoming season and the players.
Mm-hmm.
But I have consistently said with the Sacramento Kings, next year will be my look. We'll see, because We still don't know what's going on with Keegan Murray. I think you got to start there.
Yep.
What's going on? Whitey, you got any answers? Keegan Murray yet?
They want to sign him. I think that's the last I've heard. They want to sign him. They're interested in signing him. I think everything's kind of on hold because
for what rate?
Yeah, that I don't know.
For how long?
They better just give him the full extension. I don't know if they want to max him out, but
right.
If that's exactly the type of player you need right now is Keegan. He's exactly the type of player that this franchise needs right now.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that they won't get something done.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
I think you're spot on.
Red flag.
Yeah. Yes. Spot on. But I can understand where those group of gentlemen are coming from. That's all I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So when we have some kickback, it's like, what are they talking about? You have to be real with yourself. There's too many incompletes with the management, and you throw the ownership group in there. And then on top of that, you have a couple of guys who are a little longer in the tooth. You have a couple guys, as we talked about, the square peg in a round hole. There's a lot of questions of the Sacramento Kings on paper.
Now, you know Doug Christie, right?
I don't know. Yes, of course I know.
Yeah. If your buddy Whitey were to have a suggestion on the offense, and I mean, you could in theory, not that I would ask you to.
Sure.
You could in theory mention it to him.
I could lob it to him.
You remember when Doug played for the Kings, they used to run like a split action. You have Vlade at the high post, and you had Bibby, and you had Peja. And you get them kind of going off the high post, and you'd end up like a Peja in the corner. Just think if you did that where you had Domas in the Divac role, and you had Debo in the Bibby role, and you had Zach LaVine in the Peja role. That could work, Jay.
Maybe.
Yeah. That could work.
But
I'm sure Doug's already thought of that.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he's listening.
Maybe
we should shoot him a piece of the sound that you just talked about.
I'm not saying that's the fulcrum of your offense or anything, but I think was that the one they used to call corner? They used to run something called corner that was based on a triangle. Hey, that could be something you could throw out there out of a timeout or something. It seems to me. I don't know. What do I know?
Are you asking me?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Just triple check.
That would be an imposition. I would never do that. It's all theoretical.
Yeah.
Just all theoretical.
There's a lot of questions and a lot of things to be answered.
Yes.
I have no clue. If you are on the outside looking in, and that's the way I look at it with Kevin Pelton and John, and I keep wanting to say John Hollinger. You know why? Because Hollinger be hating on the Kings a lot.
I think you're right.
Yeah. But Bobby Marks, Kevin Pelton, give me the last one more time.
Tim Bontemps.
Yeah. Tim Bontemps. They are on the outside looking in. We're on the inside looking out.
Yeah.
I can honestly, wholeheartedly say I can understand their assessment of the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah. Bobby Marks, I think, is pretty even-handed when it comes to the Kings. I remember he interviewed here. He interviewed with Vlade to be the assistant GM. Mm-hmm. And I remember interviewing him after that, and he said, he didn't take the job, but I remember him saying, I like Vlade. So I think he appreciates the unique circumstances that people working for the Kings have to work for. And I don't think he's anti-King.
No. I don't think so either. I think he's been forthright.
Glowing review of where they're going to be the next 3 years. But I think as far as Bobby Marks goes, I think he's pretty fair.
Agreed. You don't always have to be on each side.
Yeah.
Right or wrong or right. You can also be like, hey, this team has an opportunity right now. They're not where they need to be. They need to get better. Don't like the roster. Management has been unsuccessful in a lot of different avenues. And, next couple of years, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of work to get done.
Absolutely.
So much that it's difficult to project the next 3 years. Speaking of